Hello, my fellow mountaineers. I want you to imagine every year, every man, woman, and child who calls West Virginia home receives a check. Not welfare, not a handout, but a real dividend from the natural resources that belong to all of us. A few hundred or even a couple $1,000s in your pocket every single year. No strings attached. Sound too good to be true? It's not. Our neighbors to the north, Alaska, has been doing exactly this for over 40 years. Hi, my name is Butch Hoppy, and I want to talk to you about one of the smartest ideas any state has ever tried, and why it's time for West Virginia to bring those ideas home to our country roads. Back in the 1970s, Alaska struck it rich with oil at Prudhoe Bay. Instead of letting politicians spend every dime right away, Republican Governor Jay Hammond and the people of Alaska did something bold. They passed a constitutional amendment and created the Alaska Permanent Fund. A big chunk of the oil money went to this fund, where it couldn't be spent on day-to-day government. Only the earnings from smart investments could be used. And every year, those earnings are sent out as a permanent fund dividend to every eligible resident. Since 1982, every Alaskan, rich or poor, young or old, has received an annual check. Some years it's been over $3,800 per person. That money has helped families pay for bills, stimulated local businesses, and reduced poverty, especially in rural areas. Most importantly, it gave every Alaskan a real stake in how their state manages its resources. People started watching government spending more carefully because they knew wasteful decisions could shrink their future dividends. Now, why should we care here in West Virginia? Because we are sitting on tremendous energy wealth, natural gas, coal, and other potential for other development. Every year, our state collects hundreds of millions of dollars in severance taxes from the companies that extract these resources. Yet, too often, that money disappears into the general budget and gets spent on short-term fixes. In 2014, we actually tried to create our own version, the West Virginia Future Fund. Unfortunately, it never received real money and was quietly shut down in 2023. It's time to bring it back and make it better. Here's how it could work in West Virginia. We pass a constitutional amendment that dedicates a fixed percentage. Let's start with 10 to 25% of our annual severance tax revenue from natural gas, coal, and other energy sources into a protected permanent fund. The principal stays locked away. Only a safe portion of the investment earnings is paid out each year as a West Virginia citizen dividend to every eligible resident who has lived here for at least one full year and plans to stay. I want to be very clear. I do not support the data centers being built across our state. These projects consume massive amounts of our land, water, and electricity, while putting enormous strain on our environment and infrastructure. If these data centers are going to be built anyway and destroy or overuse our precious resources, then the people of West Virginia, the actual owners of this land, should be paid for it. A strong citizen dividend is the fairest way to make sure every mountaineer receives direct compensation for the resources being used up. Think about what that would mean for our families. In a state with some of the highest poverty rates in the nation, this money would go straight into local economies. It would help grandparents, working parents, and young people without creating new bureaucracies or work disincentives. It would act as an automatic stabilizer when energy markets go up or down. Most of all, it would give every West Virginian a real sense of ownership. These resources beneath our mountains belong to us, the people, not just the politicians or out-of-state corporations. This isn't socialism or big government. It's common sense ownership. Alaska's program has worked across party lines for decades because it's simple, transparent, and fair. We can learn from their success and avoid their mistakes by writing strong constitutional protections so future legislatures can't raid the fund. Fellow mountaineers, We have been told for generations that our wealth gets taken out of our state while we struggle to get by. It's time to change that story. A West Virginia permanent fund and citizen dividend would turn our natural resources into a lasting legacy for our children and our grandchildren. It would reward responsibility, reduce poverty, and give every family a direct share in West Virginia's future, especially if outside developments like data centers continue to consume our resources. So this November, or in the next legislative session, or today, let's start this conversation. Let's tell our delegates and our senators that we want our Mountain State dividend, modeled after what Alaska has proven works. One courageous state showed the way. Now it's our turn to lead as mountaineers. Together, we can build a stronger, more prosperous West Virginia, where every citizen shares in the wealth beneath our hills. Montani Semper Liberi. Mountaineers are always free. Thank you. I love you. Have a great day.